right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our annual neighborhood meeting. You're in Schnitzelburg right now, in case you weren't sure. So this is the annual meeting for the Schnitzelburg Area Community Council. We want to say thank you to Art Sanctuary for letting us host this meeting here for free. They are amazing community partners. Yeah. So thank you to them for having such an amazing space and letting us use it. They are selling drinks over there, so remember to tip your bartender. We also want to say thank you to the folks who gifted us food tonight so you all could be nourished. So thank you to 21st Amendment. We've got some wings from them in the back. And thank you also to Six Forks for donating some chicken and corn and fixings. So thank you to both of you all for being such good partners. We also have Mary Virginia, a past board member, who's going to come up here in a second and do a little prayer to kick us off. But first, wanted to say hello to everyone in the audience. We've got some old faces, some new faces. We've got some elected officials in the House and some great speakers tonight. At this time, if you are a board member, a current board member, can you please stand up and wave to everyone so that they all know who you are and how hard you work? All right, these are the people that have been making everything happen over the past year. Even in a time that's required a lot of change and innovation and flexibility, and where everyone's schedules were full and everyone had a lot on their plate, and they stuck with it and contributed so much to make sure we still had Dainty, we still had Number One Citizen, and all of the other amazing events in between, neighborhood cleanups. You'll hear more about those, but thank you to our board members. I forgot to introduce myself, actually. My name's Rebecca Hollenbach. I'm currently the Vice President of the Schnitzelburg Area Community Council, and this will actually be my last year of service. I'm moved into a new neighborhood. I know, this is one of the best neighborhoods in the entire city, so I will always be a helping hand. But just wanted to say thank you to everyone who I've met over the past few years, because this is a great neighborhood of great people, and so we're always happy to celebrate it. So to kick us off, I'm going to have Mary Virginia come up and say a prayer for us.
Hi, I'm Reverend Mary Virginia Brooks, and I live just about half a block from here. Schnitzelburg is more than the best neighborhood in the city. It's one of the best in this country. And I welcome you all here. Let us take just a moment to calm ourselves and center a calming breath. Blow out all of those things that were full in your daytime. And we just want to lift up the fact that this is a place and a home where people know more than their stuff and their house. They know their neighbors, and they reach out to them. You are all our neighbors, and you are all our leaders. We lift up these thoughts and energy, and we want to know for just a second that it's a really difficult time. It's a hard time. We've been through hard months. So many things are going on. We lift up those thoughts too, knowing that we need to celebrate the good things and be very mindful that people also have many struggles. We say these things. Amen.
All right. right, and next I'm going to introduce our current SAC president, Jennifer Chappell, to talk about what we've done this year. All right, give it up for Jen.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, we're being COVID aware tonight. Any speakers, we're asking you to wear your mask up here. If you prefer to speak without a mask, you'll have to get one of these black microphone covers to be unique to yourself if you want to speak. So thank you all for joining us tonight. This is such a great community, and if you look at everyone in this room, it's people that value community, and thank you so much just for showing up tonight. Before we get started into our list of speakers and our board elections, we wanted to go over some of the 2021 Schnitzelburg events. Usually we have neighborhood meetings every other month, but right now, because of COVID, I guess for the last 2 years, we haven't been having those meetings, and so we're really hoping that in the next year, we can bring those meetings back. We're not sure in what capacity. We tried a virtual concept. It didn't really work. Turns out that having alcohol at your meetings is also a really great draw, and we can't do that on Zoom. So thank you all again for being here, and hopefully we'll see you next year at one of our neighborhood meetings. But this meeting is really important to us because it's a time for us to come together, hear from elected officials, hear what's going on in the neighborhood, and also elect incoming board members. So later on, if you are a household member or a business member, you're going to be able to cast your vote into who will be joining our board for 2022. Usually it's not a contentious process, so I don't anticipate any problems there. We're pretty thankful for anybody that wants to give their time. So earlier this year, we kicked things off in the spring with a trash pickup. So we met at the Merriweather, and the Brightside partnered with us, and we were able to pick up a couple dozen bags of trash around the neighborhood. It's a great event, and it was also great to see a lot of parents bringing their kiddos out so they could teach them the values of cleaning up your neighborhood. In, I think, May, because it got postponed because of rain, we had Romeo and Juliet in Emerson Park. And this is a really great event that we welcome every single year. And that's sponsored through the District 10 Metro Council office and also Kentucky Shakespeare. So this is a free event and a great way for us to engage in our local park. In the spring, we also had one of our history walks. We traditionally have one in the spring and the fall, and these are led by neighborhood historian Don Hagg. But they're really great. You just walk around and he tells you, hey, this grocery store used to be here. Hey, these kids used to play this game on this street. And it's just a wealth of information from somebody that knows this neighborhood from the ground up. Manual Stadium is also a really great asset that we have in this neighborhood. I know. But this is a picture that was taken from inside Emmanuel Stadium in May. They had a senior night for senior movie night. Over the summer, we also saw events such as the VOA Fit had a Pride Festival over at their facility at the corner of Goss Avenue and Boyle. We're really proud of that inaugural event, and we hope that it continues. The day was filled with everything from drag queens to free HIV testing and a little bit of everything in between, but it was a really wonderful day. Likewise, we had a wonderful time at the All-Wool and Yard-Wide Democratic Club's summer concert. I don't know if they intended it, but it was all a pirate theme, so it was a really fantastic night and definitely one unique to this area. In July, we had the 51st Annual World Championship Dainty Contest, and we were so proud to bring this back. And for the 50th annual, we actually had that at Germantown Ballpark, and we had to limit it to players only. So this year, we were not only proud to bring back the Dainty Contest, but we turned it into an entire festival, which spanned 3 days. So on Saturday, we had a kickoff concert at the Merriweather. Sunday, we had a vendor village behind the Germantown Vintage Collective. And then on Monday, we held the annual contest. And then we also launched a Schnitzelburg sweepstakes this year, where we were able to partner with local businesses to sell raffle tickets in order to win some great prizes. But everything went back to helping us carry out Dainty. In September, we had the Germantown Blues Festival, Germantown Schnitzelburg Blues Fest, that's put on by the Kentucky and a Blues Society and Chex Cafe. Czechs also, about a week later from that, had a quartet singing outside, and I just love this picture of this couple dancing underneath of this tree, or a quintet. So Czechs had some really great outdoor music this year. Speaking of outdoor music, we also had the fall Schnitzelburg Walk, which a lot of people probably refer to it as the fall beer walk, but we're more than beer, but it is a great accompaniment. So we had kicked off the day with the Flea Off Market. They set up their vendors, starting at Monarch, and it went all the way past Sylvia Street. So it was a really great day to incorporate the daytime hours into this event that's typically a nighttime event. But when it turned over tonight, it was really wonderful because all of the bars along Hickory Street all had a different musical component. And there was everything from a duo, one of them was playing the violin, to a rock band, to surf rock, to country music. So if you walked down the street that night, you could hear a bevy of music, and it was just so wonderful to jump into those different vibes throughout the night. In October, SAC participated in the Germantown Oktoberfest. That's usually held on Goss Avenue, but this year it was moved over to the Germantown Mill Lofts. And if you stopped by the SAC booth, you were probably enticed by playing Hammerschlagen, and that was a fun little German game that we played. You can see some guys trying to hit some nails into a log right there. But that was a great fundraiser for us in October. The Male Manual game also happened this fall at Manual Stadium, and here's a great aerial shot that was provided to us by board member Emily Rooney. This year we also had a few Schnitzel sidewalk sales, and this idea was kind of born in 2020 because we had a lot of our merchandising opportunities taken away because of COVID. So we created this sort of drive-up scenario where you drive up, pick a t-shirt or any merchandise that you want, and we bring it out to your car if you need it. But we really wanted to give the community an opportunity to help support SAC, but at a safe distance. And it was kind of a hit in 2020, so we've continued that, and I think we've had 2 or 3 sidewalk sales this year, the most recent one being November 4th. So thank you everyone for supporting us on those days. Most recently, we had our #1 citizen dinner, and we honored Lisa Pisterman for that award. She's a local historian. She wrote the book Louisville's Germantown and Schnitzelburg, and she's also a current founding member of the Germantown-Schnitzelburg Historical Society. She's done a lot to preserve our history, and she continues to do a lot, and we thank Lisa, and we were so happy to honor her on November 11th. This year we saw a bevy of new businesses as well. The Vintage Barber Shop, Six Forks Burger Company, Germantown Social, Dainty Dames, and Germantown Vintage. They opened in December 2020, but we're going to count them in 2021. And then we also saw Pop's Place Bar and Grill right there at the corner of Ash and Hickory, which is formerly 19th Hole, reopen. On the horizon, we have taking a second to load. We're excited to welcome a couple of new businesses that we know of in 2021. We're always excited to have new businesses come into the neighborhood, but a couple of those on our radar that we feel are going to really create some movement in our neighborhood. The St. Elizabeth's facility is going to become Ohio Valley Head Start program. So we're excited to see that space used. Normally, if you came to one of our neighborhood meetings, you'd be sitting in the cafeteria of St. E's. Unfortunately, they had to secure the building since children are going to be in there, and we no longer have a home at St. E's. So next year when we have our meetings, we're going to be looking at bouncing around the neighborhood and highlighting some of the businesses that have the capacity to house us. We're also excited to welcome North of Bourbon into the former Mr. Lee's space. You might also know it as Groucho's. It's been a lot of different things before that. And then also the Hauck's properties are getting redeveloped right now. So we already saw Dainty Dames and Germantown Vintage Collective opening, but next year we're gonna see Hauck's opening, which will be a bar called Hauck's. And then the space across the street, they're still sourcing a tenant, but we're really excited about what they're going to put in there. And then there's another property down the street that's a commercially zoned property that's also going to be renovated, and they're gonna be looking for a lessee for that space. For Schnitzelburg, next year we have a lot of really great events coming up, the same ones that you can count on. Dainty will be back, Number One Citizen, trash pickups, history walks. But one of the things we really want to push next year is a capital project. And if you stop by a SAC merchandise table or ran into a board member, you may have already heard about this initiative, but we're trying to get some trash cans in the neighborhood. So yeah, let's hear it for trash cans. So right now we're looking along what we've referred to as the Hickory Stroll District, so along Hickory Street. We know that that's an area that is already trash collected by the city, so we're trying to get 7 trash cans there right now. We're trying to work with somebody in Metro Louisville to identify a vendor for those trash cans. We're kind of hitting a wall there, but if need be, we'll just go out with our own vendor and get those installed ourselves. But to accompany those trash cans, we're also going to be launching a doggy doo-doo bag dispenser circuit all throughout the neighborhood. And we posted something a while ago on Facebook, and it helped us determine the locations that dog walkers felt that it would be most useful to get to have doggy doo-doo bag dispensers. And you can see on this second map on here where we feel those would go. So these are both trash cans and doggy doo-doo bag dispensers, something that we're really excited to get into the neighborhood in 2021 and be looking for a crowdsourced fundraising campaign to hopefully get us some trash cans and doggy doo-doo bags in the near future. I think we've got the doggy doo-doo bag dispensers covered, but we'll definitely need some help with those trash cans. At this time, you're going to see this later on, so don't worry if it goes away and you miss it. But you can follow SAC on Facebook and on Instagram at Schnitzelburg_SAC. You can also visit our website. That's a great place to find information, whether it be historical information about the neighborhood, list of past Dainty winners, events coming up in the neighborhood, local resources such as all of your elected officials' contact information, probably even the stuff they don't want you to have. We're that good. And then you can also email us at sac@schnitzelburg.org. You can also message us. We're really easy to get a hold of, but please keep in mind we are a volunteer-led organization, so we might not be the most expedient at responding, but you can always send us a DM on Facebook or Instagram, as well as send us a message on our contact form on our website. We'll get back to talking about that in just a second. We have a couple of folks that need to leave tonight, some of our speakers, so we're kind of switching up the order. But I do want to remind everyone, since it is the week before Thanksgiving, we're all probably already trying to fast track into vacation mode. I promise we're not going to keep you here all night long. So we're limiting all of our speakers to 5 minutes. So if the speakers can please try to keep to that 5 minutes, that would be wonderful. And then any questions that you may have, please hold them at the end. We're going to invite all the speakers back up if they are still present, and then we can have a question and answer period, kind of panel style. So first person that we're going to invite up is Kentucky Senator Morgan McGarvey. Just kidding, he left. But thank you for coming for a second. Yeah, he had an interview on KET. He's a great supporter. Sorry that we could not get to him in time. That was great of him to try to fit us in. Next up, I wanted to introduce our current councilman up to the stage, and then after him, Councilman Triplett will be speaking. But before that, I wanted to talk about something that really impacted the neighborhood as of recent. As with every census that comes out every 10 years, council districts all across, precincts all across the United States have to shift to have equal population sizes among districts, equal population sizes to vote. So in light of the 2020 census, a lot of our populations moved out east. That caused a shift in a lot of our metro council districts. Formerly, Schnitzelburg was a part of District 10, which you can see on this map. It's kind of started in Schnitzelburg in District 10. Currently, it goes out to Butual. But with the redistricting, Schnitzelburg got cut out of 10 and placed into 15. So the map that you're looking at right now on the screens is the accurate portrayal of District 15, and this was voted in and signed by the mayor, I think last Tuesday. So it is ink dried on the paper and finalized. So you can see Schnitzelburg kind of starts, District 15 actually kind of starts at the edge of St. Michael's Cemetery and runs through U of L's campus. It includes Jim Patterson Stadium, Cardinal Stadium, Churchill Downs, and then goes out past Iroquois Park. So tonight, because of this shift, we wanted to invite District 10 Councilman Pat Mulvihill tonight to speak, and then after that, we're going to give everyone the chance to meet Councilman Triplett. So Pat, if you want to come on up.
Hopefully that'll work. Good evening. Boy, these lights are bright. I feel like I'm on doing stand-up comedy almost. But I just want to say, for me, and I'll try to be very brief. I know I have 5 minutes. It's been a pleasure to represent Schnitzelburg. I was fortunate enough to win a special election in November 3rd of 2015. So for the last 6 years, I've had the pleasure of watching Germantown, Schnitzelburg really grow. But it doesn't grow without leadership. And I'm not talking about the guy sitting here. I'm talking about the folks that were introduced tonight with these neighborhood associations. It's Mike Morris. You don't need trash cans. You got Mike Morris. Mike Morris is on Gauss Avenue. Every time I come home on a Friday, Mike's out there picking up. So I know we might need some trash cans for him to place it. It might make his job a little easier, but it's just been, really a great opportunity for me to get to represent such a great, fast-growing area. It's unfortunate redistricting does happen every 10 years. And I know I had a long not long, a nice conversation, but a good conversation with Jennifer about it. Kevin's terrific. His office is terrific. Great folks. For Jeff and I, though, this is home to us, too. And so not to have it stinks, but it is the way it has to be, I guess, because we don't redraw lines in a vacuum. There's 26 council districts, and our population did shift dramatically east and south. That's where it grew. And so naturally, we have to gravitate that way. We tried to keep neighborhoods together. I know the very last map, thanks to Jennifer's geography lesson for me, is that the Schnitzelburg line is actually Clark's Lane. I always sort of associated that more with George Rogers Clark Park. So we were able to do that, but I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to get to serve you guys. I'm going to give some really quick updates, and then you'll get to the next speaker. Something that I've been working on with District 21 that will impact really the entire city, but certainly Schnitzelburg, and really is the Preston Street Corridor Plan. This is something I think you probably, if you haven't heard, there have been neighborhood meetings, but it is a corridor plan that starts at the river and goes all the way out past Gene Snyder. Very diverse in terms of Preston, not all the same needs, but certainly I think that something needs to be looked at and improved. When I drive out Dixie Highway, I know a lot of folks say, well, I hate some of the things that happen, but I think we can learn some lessons from what happened there and build a better Preston. Preston is, it's a divided highway. It's one way in places, but maybe a new reimagined will be something that we all will love. But in order for us to get there, it is important that we hear your voices. So please, you can contact our office. I think there's links and surveys that need to be filled out. So we'd encourage you to do that. Something that also working with District 21 is really between Eastern Parkway and I guess, Indian Trail, is the Preston Business Alliance. This is a conglomeration of business associations. We're trying to get it formed. It's not been formed. There was one back in 2009, and it started and sort of went defunct. And I know you all have a great Germantown Schnitzelburg Business Alliance. I know Mike's familiar with that. We sort of thought maybe we can re-energize and recharge Preston. There are too many vacant buildings on Preston for my liking, from when I was a kid till now. We need some improvements, and we need some businesses. We need to improve our sidewalks, you know, and if the state's in charge, you can't really have, if you do want cyclists, you really can't use their bike lanes because they put you in the gutter. So we really need to look at a different way. We think having businesses and a corridor plan can help improve Preston. So hopefully that'll happen. More of it at a global level, just going to briefly touch on it. I know you all have heard the city was fortunate enough to get nearly $400 million in ARP funds. We have started to appropriate those funds. Some things that are certainly needed, I think everybody would agree on. Now, how it's done, maybe not, but you know, I guess let's talk about the big picture. Affordable housing. There'll be more money invested in affordable housing than ever, and this council just approved that. Violence intervention or prevention. We, from my vantage point in 2017, when we had to look at raising taxes or cutting services, we cut services. I was on the other side of that, and what we really cut and what we really gutted was a program called Ocean. Now it's back being reinvested in more than ever. But unfortunately, we've taken to date, I think, 173 homicides, tying a record. We'll probably, sadly, by the end of December, have the most ever. We're finally realizing maybe we need to invest on the front end, not the back end. So hopefully we'll make a difference there. Some economic opportunities. If you get my newsletter, you might have seen, what was Pat doing down in Evansville? Pat was looking at a swimming pool down in Evansville, a natatorium. There's some economic opportunities where Louisville's located. It's a logistics capital for a reason. It just doesn't have a UPS here. It's 8 hours in the center from many, many states. And it's been talked, because I'm a parent that fortunately and unfortunately travels a lot with my kids to go to different places, goes to Indy to watch soccer. People go up there to swimming, go to Nashville, go to Cincinnati. There's real opportunity here in Louisville, and we've never taken advantage. When Evansville, with 180,000 people, has 5 outdoor pools and 1 aquatic center that can fit, you know, most of their people and then some, and you look at Louisville with 4 outdoor pools and the Maritime Maher, we're lagging behind. We have 800,000 people. So there's opportunity with ARP money and others to look at maybe something. Maybe it'll be rectangular sports, maybe it'll be natatorium. But we always talk about bourbonism and people traveling here. We can also have it for youth to come here. So I hope we will make that investment. That's to be, to come later. Some other things just to talk about. Very unfortunate accident this past week on Eastern Parkway. We have far, far too much speeding. I know that. You all know that. I don't know, Jeff, do we get a speed hump request probably at least 2 a month? And we do have some dollars to do that, but there's a lot of rules and where they can go. But we have, we all need to slow down. Somebody said that tonight. I think you did, Mary Virginia, when you said breathe. Well, while you're driving, slow down too. That'd be good. Just a couple last things I want to talk about. You've seen Poplar Level redevelopment. That's great what's happened up there. There's still some things to happen, the outlots. Bojangles is not coming, unfortunately, I hear. But City Barbecue is in the mix. So I don't know what else will go there. Across the street, the old Bamboo House. Anybody ever heard of Scooter's Coffee? Allegedly, they're looking at that. It's a little sort of roundabout. So that's something happening there. I think if you go down Preston, you've seen, thankfully, the old Smith Furniture Building is now going to become a Dollar Tree. And it looks like it's well on its way to being done. So hopefully we'll continue to see some good things in our neighborhood. Hopefully those plans with the business association and the corridor plan will also net some good results. Lastly, I want to mention, because we did talk about all the music festivals, I don't know who heard the music festival that happened at the fairgrounds, but some people liked it and some people didn't. Representative Wilner and I were on a call this week with the promoters, and one of the things that didn't happen last time, hopefully next year they will redo it, but the stage was in the same place, so the stage is blowing music, I guess, kind of north, and then I don't know where music goes, but it goes around. It seems to get up to the Highlands because there were several complaints there. The thought is to move the stage and have it face the airport, but the problem is you have to have, I love government, I work for them, but there's always a little bit of red tape. That was not something that could be done expeditiously, but hopefully next year there'll be plans. And if you enjoy the music, go out there, and if you enjoy the music, try to go to the airport because it may be going that way next year. Just go out there and have dinner. But lastly just want to say thank you again. I've enjoyed all the projects. Mike, I love the islands. When I was driving down here today, I saw the islands on Goss. I know they're not the real islands, but I like those painted spaces. Thank you again for the opportunity to be your councilman, but I'm really not going away. Kevin and I are close friends, but I represent, like Kevin, 800,000 folks. This is home to me. As I tell folks, my dad spent a lot of time at Chex, so that meant I spent a lot of times at Chex as a kid. So anyway, I'm going to be around. I'm still here in the neighborhood. I always will be a supporter and help in any way I can Germantown, Schnitzelburg. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you.
Thank you, Councilman Mulvihill. A couple of things tailing off of what Councilman Mulvihill was saying. The Preston Street Corridor Plan, or Preston Corridor Plan, we're going to have more information. Believe the post is scheduled to hit at about 10 a.m. on our social media pages. And that's going to include a website link to submit feedback via survey for the planners that are working on that project. Look at kind of what comments have been submitted and see the area that they're talking about. It's just in its planning phases right now. They're trying to identify what can be done so they can identify what kind of funding they will need to make it a reality. It's a very long and ambitious project, but I think that it's a great opportunity to add your input. And they also have a community advisory council for that project. So if you're interested in joining that and being a little bit more intimate on that project than just somebody watching via newspaper articles, please let us know, and we would be happy to connect you with that. Also, in terms of the redistricting, in the initial proposed map, a section of Schnitzelburg, which was from Eastern Parkway to Clark's Lane, was still supposed to stay in 10. We want to be transparent in letting you know that SAC did go to the Metro Council meeting, and we rallied for, we really wanted to stay in District 10, no offense to District 15, but we really wanted to make sure that all of our constituents were staying within the same Metro Council district, so we didn't have to stay with deal with two Metro Council offices. So we were able to get all of Schnitzelburg placed into 15 when they redrew those maps. So we're definitely considering that a victory, and we really look forward to our partnership with District 15 in the future. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up, okay, District 15, Councilman Kevin Triplett.
I can use the same little windsock that you and Pat have used. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity, Jennifer, and everybody at SAC for the opportunity to join you tonight. Just several things to chat about. First of all, I'm a neighborhoods guy. I grew up in just old South Louisville, Churchill Downs area, Taylor Boulevard. I've always lived in a neighborhood like that. I've always loved old urban neighborhoods. And, when District 15, 10 years ago, picture this area: Wyandotte, Taylor Boulevard, Hazelwood, Iroquois, from Iroquois Park, like the map showed you a while ago, up to Churchill Downs. But 10 years ago, because of redistricting and the need to meet our population threshold, we inherited, we got St. Joe's. Now, St. Joe's didn't look like Taylor Boulevard or the rest of District 15. And I'm sure a lot of those folks, they probably had a lot of the same type of apprehension as well. But St. Joe's, the opportunity to serve St. Joe's has been an absolute delight for me. Now, some of you have probably already heard, I will not be running for re-election. I've decided to move on. One term, I'm going to be a one and done. One term's fine. I never, ever wanted to be one to run for office, get in office, and stay there. I was never going to be that guy. There's still so much to be done, and it's an exciting time. And I will tell you this, had I known I was going to inherit Schnitzelburg, I may have reconsidered my decision. You guys are that valuable. You're that unique. In fact, I wasn't even going to do this, but would it help if I told you you're looking at the 2007 World Daning Champion? That's right. That's right. Go. My name's on the plaque. Go to Hawks. It's on the plaque. 2007. I will never forget that day as long as I live. You folks made me feel like Hank Aaron. Well, after I hit that shot and won, people were buying me beers and bologna sandwiches, patting me on the back. And what a unique festival. A community neighborhood festival like no other. And you guys do other things. And so I will get. In fact, I made a mistake. I was talking to maybe Jennifer or somebody earlier about when the new maps go into effect. And I was mistaken. I thought they go into effect next year. I was mistaken. It's in effect now. So you got me. I got you. You got me. And it's going to be a pleasure. Now, you must remember this. In a year from now, you're going to get another new Metro councilman because, like I said, I've decided not to run for re-election, and that's fine. I'll just serve in a different capacity somewhere. But first, I'm going to go fishing for a while. But you must remember this. Your Metro Council representative, whoever he or she may be, you must trust in them. They will distinguish the different needs between Taylor Boulevard, Manslick Road and Iroquois Park, and the needs of St. Joe's and the needs of Schnitzelburg. They'll be able to distinguish that. Don't ever think that you're going to lose your identity or lose your voice. That'll never, ever happen. You'll never lose your voice. And yes, unfortunately, we did have to split some neighborhoods. Parkway Village was another one in the crosshairs for us, and they were going to get split. And so we made some changes. We compromised. And I fought with Councilwoman Nicole George. I thought that I should have the other side of Taylor Boulevard and Iroquois High School and all of Southern Parkway. No, she said. So there was a lot of compromising and a lot of work went into this, folks. A lot of work. So trust in your Metro Council member. And I want you also to know this. You do have some pretty sharp people on that Metro Council. You really do. And Pat Mulvihill is one. Like he said, he and I have been friends forever, practically forever. And it's been an honor to work with him and Jeff in his office. And I'm going to do that for you. And I'll distinguish what your needs are. What do we have in common? Urban Service District first. So you have alleys, illegal dumping, aging infrastructure like sidewalks and asphalts and drainage and things like that. Homeless issue, vagrants, panhandling, things like that. But also your unique needs and issues are quite different than some of the others. Like say St. Joe's, that's right next to the University of Louisville. They have street parking problems. I know parking gets pretty crowded here. And, but at U of L is a big problem. Over there at Warnock, Crittenden Drive, over in the St. Joe's neighborhood, where you have all these students who you have 6 students that live in one house. Well, with that comes 6 cars with only one driveway. And you have street parking, so the residents, the lifelong residents there, is a problem. And we had to address that. And I think we have addressed that in the best way that we could. So that's just one example of a unique problem for one particular neighborhood. So trust in your Metro Council members that they will respond, answer your call, and I look forward to it. I truly look forward to being your council representative in the coming year. Welcome you to call me at any time. You'll have my email address and my phone number, so I'm easy accessible, and my office is eager to help. And I'll stick around and answer any questions that you may have. I hope this has helped. I didn't know if the map, we can talk about the map. Maybe a little bit later on we can put the map on there and point at it. So thank you again so much, and I look forward to meeting you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Since there is an election for District 15, next year we're going to look forward to having a candidates forum. I know that there are a couple of people that have already thrown their hat into that ring here tonight, so if you get a chance afterwards to talk to them, please do. Next up, we're going to have Kentucky House Representative Lisa Wilner.
Hello, Schnitzelburg. It's good to see you guys. Jennifer, thank you so much for having me tonight. And it feels like it not only feels like it has been a long, hard slog since we've all been together in person. It's tried to keep up with people virtually and on phone calls and through email, but there's really nothing quite like being in the room together. And so I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be with you guys tonight. And I'm grateful to the Schnitzelburg Area Community Council for everything that they have done to keep things as normal as possible during times that are anything but. I'm going to really just keep this short, but then be available for questions as Jennifer says and as time allows. I will say that representing the district that includes Schnitzelburg is the honor of a lifetime. I represented this neighborhood also on the school board from 2014 to 2018. Spent a lot of time going door to door, both when I was canvassing for my campaign and also just to get people's input on issues happening with our schools. It's not been possible to do that door to door during this time, but I will share with you that our neighborhoods are our strength. At the state level, we don't have the same direct input with the neighborhoods that the Metro Council does, but I have stayed very involved with Councilman Mulvihill's office, with Councilwoman Nicole George's office, and being part of the Prosper Preston group. Eventually, that amazing plan is going to come together, and it's going to require state funding, and I'm already working very, very hard to have that on the radar of the Kentucky Department of Transportation. So that has been a priority. I will say I'm a licensed psychologist. Many of you know that. I have a strong focus on mental health and mental health access. I was involved with the trauma-informed schools planning that's now part of the school safety bill. I've been actually, our neighbor and constituent Mackenzie Longoria is here tonight. Mackenzie works with the Alzheimer's Association, and we've been able to work on access to better training for people with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia for the home health workers working with and people in nursing facilities. I have worked on school mental health, excused absences for that. On the economic side, one of the bills that I'm working on that I'll be filing actually for the first time is for us to be able to make our property tax payments in installments instead of in one lump sum. And that's particularly going to affect a lot of our older folks and people who've been in their homes for a long, long time and don't have those escrow monthly payments taken out. So that's, I think, an economic justice issue as well as an economic comfort issue. I've been involved in police accountability bills. I've been involved in bills for racial equity. I've been involved in legislation to lift up the LGBTQ community and support that group of folks. And it really is my focus to be a voice in Frankfurt, particularly for those who historically have not had a voice. I take that role very, very seriously. I campaigned on that. I served that function on the school board. I continue to be driven by that value in my work in Frankfurt. And you know, we're in a climate where it's difficult. We're hearing, you know, this critical race theory nonsense, you know, that we shouldn't be teaching that in schools. Well, we're not teaching that in schools. So I feel like we're going to be up against some deeply partisan divides in the session ahead. We've already had some previews of it during this interim session. But there is also common ground to be found with folks across the aisle, and I will always work with folks across the aisle when we're going to be advancing the interests of the people that we've been elected to represent. So you may count on me for that. I'm going to cut it short there. I will just say, Jennifer mentioned, or maybe Rebecca mentioned, that you have on the Schnitzelburg page, you have maybe forbidden or private information of your elected officials. I will give my cell phone number out freely. I hope it's on that page. I will tell it to you now. It is 502-599-7289. You're welcome to call me, text me at that number, and I will do my very, very best to help you in any way that I can in my role as your state representative. And again, thank you for the opportunity to represent you. And I'm just very, very grateful to be here with you in person tonight.
Thank you. We just have a couple more speakers for you tonight. Okay, next up we have Center for Neighborhoods. And this is Miss Muldrow, who has a very beautiful name, but I forgot how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry.
Like the most awkward moment ever trying to get this on here. It's like cringeworthy. All right, now you can see my beautiful face. Okay. As she said, my last name is Muldrow, so yes, Miss Muldrow, but my first name is Tajane, and the way I usually help people remember that, oh my goodness, this is stuck on my earrings, is Beyonce. I'm sure everybody knows who Beyonce is, so it kind of rhymes. So yes, my name is Tajane Muldrow, and I am a neighborhood liaison. There we go. Oh my God. A neighborhood liaison at Center for Neighborhoods. And if you are unfamiliar with Center for Neighborhoods, we are a nonprofit organization that works directly with residents to help them build the communities that they want to see. CFN, which is also another name for Center for Neighborhoods, we often shorten it. CFN actually focuses on serving different communities and neighborhoods, pretty much all of the disinvested neighborhoods in Louisville, and we focus on serving them through community engagement, education and training, as well as planning and design. Our community engagement team consists of 3 different neighborhood liaisons, myself, Jamel Armstrong, and Jonique Eisen, and we are the people basically that are on the ground working. So we go directly into neighborhoods, whether it's canvassing, door to door, knocking on doors, taking surveys, or answering phone calls. We are that direct link between residents and neighbors and Center for Neighborhoods. We also help people connect with different other organizations that can help them with the programs and the projects that they wish to see. Our Education and Training Committee focuses on, of course, educating and training different neighborhood leaders and equipping them with the knowledge that they need to successfully carry out projects. Again, it's also connecting them with the people that they need to get it done. Underneath our education and training, we've had our Neighborhoods Summit, which we actually just had a couple of weeks ago at the beginning of November, and I taught my first workshop. It went very well. If you haven't been to our annual summit and you do want to get involved in the community or learn more, that is a great way to do so. We also have our Neighborhood Institute. We just wrapped up 1 semester of that, and we'll be starting again in the spring. So if you do want to enroll in the Neighborhood Institute, which is about a 12-week, don't quote me on that, but it's pretty much a long course, learning about neighborhoods, assets and development and things like that, ways that you can get involved in the community and carry out successful projects. We also have our Planning and Design Committee as well. Under that, we've had our paint projects, which is responsible for different art installations and murals, beautiful ones all over town. We just wrapped up one in Beachmont, which is another one of my neighborhoods that I oversee, such as Schnitzelburg. We also have Better Block, which is pretty much a block party showcasing the culture of the neighborhood that it's hosted in. And we also help with neighborhood plans, neighborhood planning. So we do a little bit of everything, and I will leave some business cards out here on the table. I am Schnitzelburg's neighborhood liaison, so if you all need anything, feel free to contact me directly. It'll have, my work cell phone number on there, and I'll be good to respond, and I think that's about it. Again, I'm Tajane Muldra. It's nice to meet you all. I'm sorry. I did not know this because I recently just graduated and started at CFN a few months ago. This is actually an award. We gave out some that looked exactly like this a few weeks ago at the Neighborhood Summit. Schnitzelburg actually won the Neighborhood Association of the Year back in 2019, did you say? So, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Tajane. Center for Neighborhoods is a really great resource, just to echo what she was saying. Also, Neighborhood Institute. I know that we have at least a couple of people in this room who have graduated from that. It's a really great resource for folks in Louisville Metro, whether you want to be a community leader or just more active in your neighborhood, or understanding how Louisville Metro works. So you really get to see the belly of the beast. Next up, we have, I don't think that she was able to make it, LMPD Officer Brittany Roush. Nope. Okay. We usually have a district resource officer assigned to us from LMPD's, we're part of LMPD's District 4. And you may have met at another meeting our LMPD District Resource Officer, Gerald Lanham. Unfortunately, he's with the Army Reserves and he was deployed for a year. So he's absent right now, but we're hoping to have him back next year. It's just always great to have a connection with LMPD. Next up, we have a representative from Louisville Metro Animal Services joining us tonight.
First of all, thank you all for inviting me here. Was it you, the state representative, has a mental health degree? Are you taking appointments when I'm done? I just want to thank you. I might need one. No. I just want to clear up some things with Metro Animal Services. Yes, we are still operating, and in fact, we did hire some more officers, so hopefully we'll get things rolling again like we once had it. But I wanted to say there is some confusion as to, like, lately some calls. What do we pick up? What do we not pick up? That's a big one. I'll start with right off the bat. Yes, barking dogs. My neighbor's dog is barking. You want to go ahead and contact us. Aggressive animals, cats, dogs, anything non-exotic. If it is like a raccoon, a sick raccoon running around your house, you want to call Fish and Wildlife. In the old days, they would call us, but Fish and Wildlife actually said, we'll go ahead and handle that. So something like that, Fish and Wildlife. A deer injured, Fish and Wildlife. Injured dog, you want to call Metro Animal Services. I also want to give you kind of our hours of operations. We have officers running on the street from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 9 o'clock at night. We do have an officer that works later at night, usually just for emergencies like a police call, et cetera. So I wanted to let you know that. But our office is open if you want to turn in a stray dog or cat. We also have some ferrets there. Recently we had a rabbit, but mostly dogs and cats. We're open every day except for Sunday from 12 to 6, and that is 3528 Newburgh Road, 3528 Newburgh Road from 12 to 6. Every day but Sunday. It's probably going to tweak those hours a little bit, so we might be going like on Fridays till 6:30 or a little later. If I can, I'll stick around for probably have some questions about animals. But basically what we do, I mean, we're animal police. You know, sometimes we are the old-fashioned dog catchers. Sometimes we're detectives. Sometimes we're like police. Sometimes we're social workers. We got to talk to some people. We got to interview people. Sometimes we're just somebody that you can talk to if you have a serious problem with your neighbor's particular animal and you want to find a solution. So we're all that combined. Like I said, we did hire some more officers, so we're going to be getting pretty close, knock on wood, to full staff. But again, I just wanted to kind of clear up of what we do handle and what we don't handle. I don't know if you're probably aware of this neighborhood. The community cat program is another big thing. We see the cats with the ear tips. There may even be some caretakers in here. That is a big thing. That's been going on for several years now, very successfully, with a stray cat, they pick it up, and if the person who turns the cat in says, hey, I want to feed the cat, you're not required to license it. You're not required to get it shots. You turn it into us. The only thing you're required to do is feed it. We will give it shots. This is with Alley Cat Advocates. We work directly with them. They will give it shots. They will spay or neuter it. They will ear tip it so you know it's been spayed or neutered and you know it's been vaccinated, and they will send it back to the neighborhood where it can live out its natural life. It just won't be able to reproduce, so you don't have 5,000 cats running around. So that's the great thing about the Alley Cat Advocate program. I know that's a big issue with a lot of people. Like every time I come to a meeting similar to this, it's like cats, 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 and we have a lot of cats in our neighborhood. We understand. That's what we're working on here. Only other thing I would have to say is if you have any questions or anything about like animal control, I want to give you our general phone number. I do have 2 phone numbers. I will hand out some cards like the other folks were saying here. I'll leave it there on the table. But the main phone number is, of course, 502-473-7387, 502-473-7387. And again, we're located at 3528 Newburgh Road. And again, thanks for having me, folks. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for that. Also, just a reminder, as it gets cold, bring in your animals, and if you have an animal outside that is cold, probably a good thing to, and your neighbor's not bringing it in, probably a good thing to call Louisville Metro Animal Services so they can help you out with that complaint. And also, Alley Cat Advocates, I'm not sure if they're still over here. Their office used to be on Eastern Parkway, right behind the Walgreens, that facility, but they're a really great TNR trap, neuter, release program. So if you are feeding a feline friend outside, make sure it's got the ear tip. Next up, we're going to have the election of new board members. I'm going to call their names. If anybody is here, again, we do understand it is the week before Thanksgiving and we have a couple of people out of town. But let's see. Sharice Mingus. I think she's here. Do you want to come on up? Chris and Emily Cortez. No? Okay. Mary Inman. Okay. Christopher Aber. I know he's not present. Natasha Kreider is not present. Henry Lacker. Hello. There you go. And that looks about all of our board applications. Just a reminder to everyone, our board application is online. It's a Google form. It's very simple to fill out. You can fill that out at any time throughout the year if you're interested in becoming a board member, but we wait until November to have board elections. Everyone that's elected in tonight will begin their term in January. It is a one-year term. We do ask that anybody that volunteers to become a board member signs on to attend at least one board meeting per month. We have those on the first Monday of every month, and even though we've had amidst a pandemic, we have still been meeting every single month. If you're ever interested in attending those, please email the board, and we'd be happy to provide you with that Zoom link. We also ask that they volunteer and that they also take on a capital project to spearhead. So right now, I just wanted to see if either one of our new applicants wanted to come up and say anything about why they love Schnitzelburg and why they would like to be a part of the board. So, Charisse?
Hi, good evening. My name is Charisse, and I moved to Schnitzelburg. I'm a pretty new resident. I moved here in February. Michelle sold me my house. I live on Burnett, about 1 block from Monick, and I just love Schnitzelburg. The community is so vibrant. There's so many wonderful events and activities, and I would love to give back to the community in some way. I have a lot of experience working with nonprofits and working in the community. I worked with YPAL, the Young Professionals Association of Louisville. I've been an ambassador for the past 3 years and a graduate of the Young Professionals Emerging Leaders Program. I work at Mint Julep Experiences, so if you want to go on a custom bourbon tour, let me know. I'm your gal. But I would just love to give back. I absolutely love Schnitzelburg, so I'm happy to be here. I would love to serve you all and look forward to being part of the community in the future.
I think technically I can take this mask off if I'm standing in front of a group of people. I've only lived here 2 years, so I'm not one of those folks that are from here, have lived here forever. But when I moved here 2 years ago, I started to meet a lot of people in the community, and frankly started to introduce myself, and I realized that a lot of people in the community didn't know each other. I mean, I can go down the block and say, that's where Darren lives. That's where Gina lives. That's where Jean lives. That's where Jake and Margaret lives. Mary lives there, and go on down. I could do the same thing on my side of the street, and I just thought, boy, wouldn't it be nice if everybody could do that in this neighborhood? So I started to insert myself into different activities, started to volunteer with Kentucky Refugee Mission, delivering food. 1 year, I actually did it wearing Santa Claus outfit. But, you know, I was born and raised in New Orleans, and I understand now Louisville has more shotgun houses than New Orleans does. But it reminded me so much of my hometown. I mean, the ubiquitous fleur-de-lis, the shotguns all over the place, and living in a community where my house backs up to a brewery, for crying out loud, you know, and a big old Catholic church, right? It just reminded me of home. And so I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the neighbors. And then I started meeting people like Michelle Curlin, like Rebecca, who was my neighbor right down the street on Sylvia, and Amber Burris. I know you know all these people because they've served with SAC. And I want this place to be a place where neighbors know each other, where community is real community, where people are willing to help each other. Last year, I probably made a mistake. I had a Santa Claus outfit. And so I got in my Santa Claus outfit on Christmas Eve, and I went out passing out Christmas candies to different people in a community, in a neighborhood, up and down the street, especially people with children or people who are living by themselves. And while some of them did like Facebook posts of, wow, Santa Claus came to my house tonight, how cool is that? There were others that said, watch out. This guy is passing out candy. Don't eat it. And one said, this is really scary, We don't need to be in a neighborhood where we're afraid of each other. We don't need to be in a neighborhood where we have fear. We live in a very, very safe community. I see posts on the Facebook page that say, I'm glad I got out of there. It's like, damn, man. I'm glad I got in. You got out. I got in. I'm glad you got out because that's how I got in, right? I love it. And I think building community here and SAC is a great instrument to build community within this community. And so that's why I want to be a part of it. But that's it.
Thank you. That was great. So the way that we'll do this, if you have an objection to any of these people, including the ones that are not here, being on the Schnitzelburg Area Community Council, please let that be known at this time. All right. Assuming you are all household members for $10, one annual payment.